Hey Gran Turismo fans, we are still waiting for Gran Turismo 7 to come out, but today I am going to be talking and reviewing the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Now the MX-5 Miata is one of my favorite cars in the game and also in the world. Of course, I'm a huge fan of Mustangs and muscle cars in general, but the Mazda Miata really does have my attention. It's a small little sports car, and it's just overall looks like a really fun car to drive in real life, and of course, in the game versus other cars, it's really not that fast when it comes to different GT3 cars and stuff like that, for obvious reasons, right? It's a small four-cylinder car. It's not going to be the fastest in the game. But can it be fun? How's the handling, and is it fast enough to actually have fun in the game? And my answer is yes, it is a small little sporty car. It's a fun little car to drive. You're not going to be able to go around the track at breakneck speeds, but the handling on the car is actually quite good. And considering that a lot of other cars have a lot of issues when it comes to, street cars have a lot of issues to braking coming into corners and stuff, this car doesn't have that issue. I can brake right on those double pylons, and I can get around corners just fine. I can actually brake a little later into corners than most regular street cars. I really like the Mazda Miata. The inside of the car looks nice too, but there's a couple of things that I really do like. And the acceleration is pretty good. The cornering is fantastic. It's phenomenal. The cornering ability, I can brake right at the pylons, and I can go through these corners faster than I can with most other street cars. And I'm not a professional race car driver at all. I'm not a professional Gran Turismo driver either. And I can handle this car really well. It's actually a very fun car to drive. And that just leads me into my next point, which is, what are the insides of the car like? What is it like to drive from the inside of the car? Well, there's not many blind spots at all. It's actually a convertible in this game. So if you're playing as a VR driver, which I'm hopefully going to have a VR headset very soon, of course, when PlayStation 5, and of course, I would assume that Gran Turismo 7 is going to accept VR. I would expect myself, if I were you watching this channel, to do a lot of VR. And as you can see, the inside of this car looks really nice. The steering wheel is realistic, it looks 3D-like, and it looks really nice. The outside of the car looks kind of cool too. And of course, I want to have a Mazda Miata in real life, someday. But I'm not going to be buying a new one. I would be buying a used one that has low mileage, and there's a reason for that. I actually want to rip out the four-cylinder that comes in the Mazda Miatas, and I want to stick in a Ford 5-liter twin-turboed engine. The Coyote twin-turboed. I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's not going to fit. It's a small little car that has a 4-banger engine. Well, guess what? They actually sell kits that allow the Coyote to work inside the Miata. Now, the one thing that I will warn you about in this car is the traction when you just touch something off the track, but I'm going to get to that in a bit. I want to tell you about my story about what I want to do to a Miata someday. And what I want to do to a Miata someday is to stick a twin-turbo 5-liter Coyote motor engine into the car, and there's a reason for that. So, of course, they do make kits for the engine itself to work. It actually does work. My goal is to get it up to 1,000 horsepower with a twin-turbo system, and there's a reason why. The reason is just because it would be a stupid car. And, like, who would look at a Mazda Miata and say, oh yeah, it's got 1,000 horsepower? Nobody, right? So that's why I kind of want to do that. Kind of a small little bucket list thing, I guess you could say. So that is what I'm going to do someday. And then the twin turbo system obviously is not going to fit in the engine bay. It's going to be having holes in the hood to be able to do that. And in Canada, as of right now, our Ontario Conservative government would allow me to do that. But if I was in California, they would probably kill me. However, so going on about the car. The Mazda Miata is a fantastic car, but Like I was mentioning earlier, and that I would mention later on, which I'm mentioning now. Yeah, try getting that one around in your head, what I just said. But the cornering is great, but there's one little small issue with the car, and it's the same issue as every single street car in Gran Turismo Sport. But the issue with it is the fact that when you're going around a corner, or if you're going down a straight and you just barely touch the grass or the gravel, it's almost like a magnet to the point where it pulls you off the track totally. However, you can fix this by doing one thing, and that is laying up off of the gas, do not press the brake, and allowing yourself to steer back onto the track. Do not give it any gas until you're back on the track, and do not floor it. There's been some rumors and some people saying that when you go off the track in this game, the gravel sticks on your tires for a bit, and I can pretty well assume that that is basically the fact, because, of course, every time I go off the track barely and I come back on, it always seems like the opposite side of the car that didn't go off seems to have more traction than the other side, and it starts trying to spin that other direction. Who knows if that's the case, but that's what it really does feel like to me, to somebody who uses a Logitech G29 steering wheel. However, this is my review of the Mazda MX-5 Miata. And of course, it is one of my bucket list cars that I would like to own someday. I do own a Mustang right now, Mustang GT, that I use in the summer. And there's a whole bunch of cars on my bucket list, but the Mazda Miata is one of those bucket list cars with a twin-turbo 5-liter Coyote that I just really want to have someday. So hopefully that comes someday soon. But if it does, obviously I will be building it on this channel, because I do a lot of car videos on this channel. As you can see, if you go back, or if you've been with me for a while, you've probably seen my Mustang and my Escape in a couple of videos. And of course, if we get in a lot of snow, we will be doing some Escape videos soon. But either way, that is the end of today's race. I came in first, of course, because we're playing against artificial intelligence that is not very intelligent when it comes to racing. I will see you guys again next time.